time I use Always Free. I don't think that's what it's called. Stay Free. I don't know the whole name of my product. I just know what it looks like in the store. Hey everyone, I'm Olivia and welcome to a TMI episode of Autistically Me. Today we're going to be talking about autism and periods. So this video is definitely directed towards females, so if you're a male, maybe you want to skip over it, maybe you want to watch to try to help your girlfriend or daughter or something, but just wanted to put that out there straight away so you know what you guys are getting yourselves into. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my experiences with periods, and I'm going to do a little review of some period panties. That is not sponsored, just put that out there. And I'm going to tell you about the biggest meltdown I've ever had in my entire life, so stay tuned for that. Okay, let's jump into the video. The reason I'm making this video is because I've had a good handful of people either comment or message me or email me asking for some tips on how to deal with their periods. And I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not sure how good this video is going to be because I only know my experiences and obviously I'm not an expert or anything, so this video might be completely useless, but I wanted to make it. So I started my period at 11, which I think is early, but when I was doing some research, it actually said the typical age range for girls to start their period is between 11 and 14, so I guess I was pretty average. Not average in a lot of things, but there I was. Thankfully, I've been very, very blessed with not a terrible period. It's very light, it's very short, it's not too painful or anything. I don't get too many side effects. I definitely will see the week prior to having my period more pimples. I'm extra hungry, I'm usually extra sleepy, and a little bit extra grumpy. I personally wear pads. I can't use tampons, they're very painful for me. I think a lot of girls get kind of almost peer pressured into wearing tampons because I feel like pads are the uncool thing to do. Maybe that's just my experience. I'm afraid or embarrassed to tell my friends, or I have in the past, that I wear pads because I feel like they're gonna be like, ew, what you 60 years old, why are you wearing pads? Don't be embarrassed, whether you wear pads, tampons, a menstrual cup, period undies, or anything else. Don't feel embarrassed because you need to do what feels most comfortable for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. I actually take birth control so that I can know exactly when my period is going to start, which is super helpful so that there's no guessing or unknown, and that's not going to cause me extra anxiety. I can prepare and plan out my schedule accordingly. I feel like I'm rambling. This is the first video where I really don't have much direction, so I think it's going to be a bad one, and I apologize. If I get cramps, I take Motrin, and that usually is very effective in making them go away. Again, know your body. Motrin maybe won't work for you, so try a different type of pain medication, so Advil or Tylenol or something. Just find whatever works for you, and I think that's the main point of this video, is find whatever menstrual product works for you, whatever painkiller works for you, whatever works for you to make yourself feel the best you can while you're on your period. I think the biggest thing again is just to know yourself. In the days coming before your period and while you're on it, are you extra tired and exhausted? Then make sure you're not going out and partying and doing a bunch of activities that could trigger a meltdown. Are you extra hungry? Make sure you're eating and you don't get hangry. That's definitely me for sure. If you're more grumpy, maybe, don't go out and hang out with people if you think that maybe you're gonna snap at them, and just, stay in your own company and maybe do some of your favorite things. I know some of the things that I do if I'm feeling grumpy, which really isn't that often, is I'll kind of go back to that list of things that I do after a meltdown, which I'll link that video up above. Since we're autistic, most of us are super hypersensitive to anything that comes in contact with our body. So for me, finding the right pad and like wearing the right pad is super important. If I have to wear one that I don't normally wear, that throws me completely off. So I am going to show you the pads that I usually wear, and then I found another one that might even be better for autistic people because it's super thin and like you can barely tell it's there. And a couple people asked what products I use, so I'm just gonna show you those real fast. So the pad product I use all the time is Stay Free. I've used these since I started my period, and they're just the only thing that has ever been really comfortable for me. They come in 3 different sizes. So these ones are the smallest ones. I prefer the medium, but sometimes the store doesn't have one, so I take whatever they have because they all feel the same, just they're small, medium, and large. It has little wings that go around your underwear, and that sticks it in place. And other than that, it's pretty thin and not terrible. A couple months ago, I saw a commercial for like these supposedly like super thin, like invisible pads by Always. And so I got some, which was like a big risk because obviously I never buy anything else, but I wanted to try it. And I kind of just wanted to try it for you guys. That was kind of in the back of my head because I wanted to make sure that I was could recommend something that maybe would work for you. Again, obviously, who knows, because I don't know you, you only know you, but maybe this can be helpful. So this comes in 5 different sizes. This size is size 4, which I think maybe is why it's not my favorite, because it's a little big, but they are extremely thin and they're foamy feeling, so they're not like the typical pad feeling that's like my other one. It's almost like fuzzy material. That makes it sound bad, but I feel like you know the material. This one is, it comes in a cute package as well. It's a different material. So you can see this one's like extra big, so I think that's why it's not my favorite, because it didn't fit my underwear properly. But it is extremely thin and it's kind of padded, even though it's extremely thin, so it's not bulky, but there's like a little pad to it, pad to the pad, and it's just very nice. And if it fit properly in my underwear, I really couldn't feel it, so I'll have to try to get another size to see if I'll switch over to this permanently. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little review of Lilova Panties. They reached out to me and said these panties are really popular amongst autistic girls, so they sent me a couple free pairs to try out myself, and I've never tried period underwear before, so this was my first time doing it. Again, this is not sponsored, they have not paid me, they just sent me samples to try and share with you guys. So I was able to choose 2 different cuts. I got the Mia Bikini and the Olivia Hip Hugger, which I kind of got just because of the name. I felt like, okay, it has my name in it, I have to get this one. This is the Mia Bikini. These are actually the sexiest pair of underwear I have. I'm not afraid to say I wear granny panties because I'm for comfort, not for style. These ones, I kid you not, they got lace on them. These are the sexiest panties I have. But you can see they're like very wide cut in the legs. They don't dig into my thunder thighs. I didn't actually think I was gonna like because it was so like low cut, but it actually turned out to be my favorite one. These are the Olivia Hip Hugger, which look more like my regular granny panties, but with the addition of some lace on top. Now they are slightly bulkier than regular underwear, obviously, because they have 4 layers of protection for you. I will say that they're not outrageously bulky. They don't feel like you're wearing like a diaper or something. They're not noticeable under like tight pants. It just looks like you're wearing regular underwear. I've worn these for several periods now, I think maybe 3, and so far so good. So the pros to these underwear are they have never leaked. Now again, I don't have heavy periods, so if you do, maybe it would be a different experience for you, but for me, they have never leaked. As I mentioned, they're comfortable. You can just kind of throw them on and go. They're very convenient in that way. You can put them on and go to sleep. You know, you can go about your day and not have to worry about them too much. I can go one whole day with 1 pair. And that brings me to my cons. if you have a heavier period, or even me too, you need to have a lot of pairs of them because you need to change them somewhat regularly. Having 2 pairs doesn't last me the 3 or 4 sometimes days that my period lasts, and if you have a heavy flow, you may last 5 or 6 days and you need to change them twice a day, and so that adds up to a lot of underwear that you need to have. They're a little pricey, which of course is completely understandable for the job that they have to do, and they're not just regular underwear, they're very specially made. But that, I would say, is another con, especially because, if you need 12 pairs, that's a lot of money. Another con is they do feel damp, later on in my day. Again, if you have a heavier flow, I'm sure they start feeling damp earlier. Overall, I would recommend getting a pair to maybe wear to bed so that you can just go to bed and not have to fret about leaking or changing or anything like that. Again, just know your body and know your flow and make the decision based on that. Now getting into my biggest meltdown ever. It was the day I started my period. I was in 6th grade. It had to be on a weekend because I was home by myself. Maybe my sister was home, but my mom was not home, and I went to the bathroom and I noticed there was some blood in the toilet, and I knew in the back of my head what this meant. My mom had attempted to have the period conversation with me earlier, but I of course wasn't having it. I shut her down. I was like, I don't want to talk about this, because at the time I had just gotten into my biggest special interest of football, and I was wondering at the time why God made me a girl, because I was so obsessed with football and I wanted to play football, and I was already a tomboy, so I was just kind of like, why would you make me a girl? And then this starts, and it was just like a recipe for disaster. I held in the meltdown until my mom got home because I didn't know what to do, and I was kind of in denial, especially because I had gone to my pediatrician for like my yearly physical, and she said you probably have like another year or year and a half until you start your period. So obviously my autistic brain took that very literally, and so it had only been a couple months since she said that, so there's no way that I could be getting my period right now. I still got freaking 18 months! But of course that was not the case. So when my mom got home, I told her, and she got me a pad, and then I just completely threw the biggest temper tantrum. I mean, it wasn't a temper tantrum, it was a meltdown. At the time, I didn't know I was autistic, so I didn't know that's what it was, but I just oh my gosh, I didn't think that I was gonna be able to move ahead with my life. I thought that was it. Life was just downhill from there. There was no getting better. My mom put me in my room because I just was inconsolable, which is always for a meltdown, but this one was extra giant. And then this is really kind of embarrassing to say, but I trashed my room. I mean, I was screaming, I was throwing things, I tipped things over. I was just, I think more than anything, very angry at God for making me a girl and getting my period right now at 11. And I thought I had, another year to a year and a half left, not having to worry about that. I was able to get over it. It took a while, took, several periods to obviously get used to it, which I'm sure everybody had to deal with, but nowadays, while taking birth control, I know exactly when it's going to start, I know about how long it's going to be, and I can just kind of take all the unknown out of it, which prevents me from having meltdowns. Okay, that is it for this video. I'm pretty sure I've rambled on and it might not even make sense, so if you made it this far, thank you for watching. God bless, and see you next week.